She pushed for the front row, glaring her horn at anyone who tried to push her back. When the lights dimmed and music sounded throughout the auditorium, the adrenaline inside her started pumping. She had forgotten the excitement of sitting in the audience. Fog covered the stage and spotlight came up. When she saw the brawny figure rise through the smoke, her eyes widened. When the lights came up and laser beams highlighted the Mentor's ripped body, Trixie's heart pounded wildly against her chest. "Greetings, friends," he announced. "My name is Iron Will, and today is the first day of your new life. I want you to stomp." If Trixie stomped hard before he could finish the sentence. The Mentor glanced down at her briefly and then continued. She didn't even process half of what he was saying. She was too engrossed in his stage presence. His deep voice, his flair, his muscles, the way he spoke in the third person like she always did. She was hooked with no chance of ever getting back in the ocean. After the show, she had just had to go meet him backstage. However, she was stopped by two security guards before she could knock on his dressing room door. Excuse me, she said. Trixie doesn't have an appointment, but she just had to speak with Mr. Will. She tried to step around them, but they blocked her path again and brayed. Oh, Trixie's not thinking anything naughty, she insisted, though this was slightly less true. She just wants to speak with him, she pointing to, Minotaur. The goats brayed again and shook their heads. Trixie scowled and started up her horn. "Get out the way, now!" A small dark cloud grew above them and set them both with lightning. They shrieked and scattered. Ah! Kind of like that. "Thank you," Trixie said, smiling in satisfaction. She raised her hoof to knock, but a door opened for her. She looked up at the Mentor, who was nodding at her in approval. "Iron Will saw the whole thing through the keyhole. It was all part of the test. Nobody can see Iron Will without proving themselves. Come on in, Miss Trixie," she said as she stepped inside. "The great and powerful Trixie, to be exact." "Uh-huh," he said, noticing her cape. "Magician?" "Cute and smart," she giggled. "Trixie must say, Mr. Will, that was quite a performance." He raised an eyebrow. "Why you refer to yourself in third person?" She snorted. "You're the one to talk." That got a chuckle out of him. "So her picture I was a assertiveness training seminar. Were you 100% satisfied?" Her eyes wandered to his broad chest. "Oh, Tracy's satisfied, all right. Though she didn't come here for any assertiveness training. She's quite capable of speaking for herself." "Clearly," Iron Will said, looking out at the ghost shivering by the door. "Trixie actually came by to get a few points from the fellow performer. See, her audience has been lacking lately." "Really?" he said, rubbing his chin in interest. "Well, perhaps the great and powerful Trixie and the incredible Iron Will could discuss this over lunch." Her eyes flashed. "Really? I mean, you sure you're..." She paused to quickly check for his love was in front when she saw a female Minotaur. "Girlfriend or wife of mine?" Minotaur's face fell. "Iowa has been single since the mist passed on." Trixie's heart sank. "Oh, I'm sorry, He held up his hand. "It's okay. I will take time to get used to it." He smiled slightly. "You still offer lunch?" Trixie nodded ecstatically. Lunch was only the beginning. It was followed by 4 weeks of ecstasy. After they had both done their shows for the day, they would meet for dinner. They exchanged performing techniques, shared their likes and dislikes, and talked about their feelings. Something Trixie had never been able to do with anyone. One day, he took her to a carnival where he won her a stuffed pig at a test your strength game. She returned the favor by winning him a grill at a dart booth. Before they got the Ferris wheel, he whispered in her ear, asking that they head back to his place. When she awoke in his bed the next morning, Trixie had never felt so wonderful. She was alone, as he had gotten up to make them breakfast, which gave her time to ponder over last night's events. All these years since she left the hive, she'd been searching for something to fill the emptiness in her heart. She'd done more than given herself to someone she'd grown to care about. She'd found closure with someone. True, he wasn't exactly what she'd expected from a significant other, but changelings were never really picked with the species. However, something unpleasant was nagging at her brain. Iron Will had said last night that he was falling in love with her. But he wasn't in love with Bellatrix. He was in love with Trixie. Yes, she was as much Trix as she was Bellatrix, but there was a whole side of her he didn't know. She felt getting honey a big part of her life from him, especially after all he had shared with her. She cautiously opened the kitchen door and found him whistling joyfully as he flipped pancakes on the stove. She couldn't help but smile and imagine what it would be like to wake up everyone to this display. He turned his head and grinned at her. "Morning," he said. "Morning," Trixie replied, taking a seat at the table. "Sleep well?" he said with a wink. She nodded and said in a sultry voice, "Oh, yes, 100% satisfaction guarantee." He chuckled as he set a plate of pancakes in front of her. "We also made some hay smoothies," he said as he poured her a glass from the blender. "He remembers how much you like them." "They taste like love," she whispered. "Huh?" "Nothing." She levitated the glass to her lips, but then paused and set it back down. "What's the matter?" Ironwood asked. "Too sweet?" "Really?" she said, looking up at him with worried eyes. "Last night's not going to be the only time, is it?" He grinned as he propped his elbows on the table. "Not if you want it to be." "I mean, do you think you and I, that we..." His eyes had a glimmer of hope. "Do you want to?" "Oh, I do. It's just..." She bit her lip. "Well, last night was new to me." His smile disappeared and his face was edged in concern. "It wasn't your first time, was it?" No, it wasn't my first, but it was different. I feel close to you, like I can tell you anything." Ironwood grinned again as he took her hoof. I feel the same way." "I know," she said under her breath. She knew all too well. She could feel the love radiating from him, and the beating of her heart reciprocated it. So she wanted to hear from his mouth. "Do you love me, really?" He took a moment to ponder and then nodded. "Yes, we may have known each other a short time, but I believe I do." "Even though we're not exactly the same?" "Come on, we're very much the same. We're both show creatures. We live to impress others, and we have that strange compulsion to speak in third person." He nodded toward the bedroom. "And I think we've already proved that our differences won't get in the way of anything." Trixie smiled slightly at this sentiment, but then frowned again. What if I didn't look like this?" He blinked. "If you mean once you get older..." "No, I mean..." She sighed. "If I wasn't beautiful, would you still love me?" "Trix, I like you for you, not how you look." "Then promise you won't freak out?" Here's an eyebrow. "Freak out about what?" She sighed again as she let go of his hoofs. "I have been entirely honest with you. Not because I don't trust you, but how scared I've had you'd react." He tilted his head in confusion. "Trixie, what are you..." "First of all, my name's not Trixie. It's Bellatrix. And this," she gestured toward her body, "isn't the real me." She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. "Please don't freak out." She immediately regretted it the moment she abandoned her disguise. For as soon as she did, Ironwood shrieked and fell off his chair. "Oh! Oh! Oh! Oh!" Bellatrix opened her eyes in terror and saw him on the floor, giving her an equally frightened gaze. You're a... "I know this looks bad," she started to say, "but if you let me explain..." "Changeling!" he shouted, crawling backward. "Yes, I'm a changeling," she gently said as she reached her deformed hoof out to him. "But that doesn't mean I don't..." "Get away from me!" "Really, it's me," she insisted, changing back to Trixie. "See? You tricked me. You've been feeding on me this whole time." "Really, no, I would never..." He grabbed his giant head in front of him. "Back off!" Tears filled her eyes. "Really, please." "Don't come any closer. You're not getting a piece of Iron Will." "Really, if you just listen to me..." "Get out!" "Really, I love you." "Get out!" Trixie rushed out the door and picked up her cape and hat. She wept as she ran through the streets. The pain in her heart was too much to bear. She had really given herself to him, showed him her full trust, and she had scared him away. Her first instinct was to take her wagon and leave town. She wanted to get as far away from him as possible. And yet, as the weeks went by, she found she couldn't get over it. It became hard for her to perform, for the thought of finding Will sitting the audience would always come. She could not even drink hay smoothies or eat pancakes anymore, as it reminded her of that awful day. After a month had passed, her heart still hadn't healed, and the thought of the creature that had broken it made her queasy. She didn't think time was going to heal this wound. Then she remembered something her mother had told her. When the queen's heart was broken by the creature she adored, she had found a remedy. Trixie shivered at the thought. She didn't want to ask her mother for help, and the idea sounded painful, but it couldn't be more painful than what she was going through now. So she turned to the hive for the first time in over a decade. Quistis was surprised to see her, but greeted her warmly. Well, 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 my dear Beatrix. So good to see you again, my dear. Let's cut to the chase, mother, the former prince said bluntly. You've told me numerous times what you did to mend your broken heart, and, well, I want you to do the same to me. Quistis' eyebrows shot up. She had not expected this, but the thought made her grin mischievously. Let me guess. Some male has broken your heart, hasn't he? She smirked. Or was it perchance a female? Beatrix narrowed her eyes. Just do it. The queen shrugged. All right, keep your secrets. Well, my sweet daughter, I'll comply with your request. However, I must warn you of the possible side effects. See, while this would afford you most of your emotions, it will not take all of them. Emotions come from other areas of your body. Like the brain. Yes, whatever. Just get on with it. All right, but there's one thing you must remember. Quistis looked seriously, almost sympathetically at her daughter. You'll feel liberated at first, but soon you'll find yourself in an emptiness that can never be filled, she said at the rest in a low voice. And once you've had a taste of this emptiness, you can never go back. Beatrix shook her head as tears still fell in her eyes. I don't care. I just want to stop hurting. Quistis sighed. That's exactly what I said. She raised her hood to do the deed. Beatrix closed her eyes and braced herself. She cried out as she felt her mother's hoof plunged into her chest and squeezed around her insides. And then suddenly, she felt nothing. She opened her eyes to see a glowing green heart pounding in the queen's hoof. How do you feel? Beatrix patted her chest, making sure there wasn't a hole in it. She looked up at herself and then up at her mother. Free, she uttered. I'm not hurting anymore, but it's a bit strange. The queen smirked. You get used to it, my dear. You'll see how much easier it is to live without emotions getting in the way of things. Perhaps now that you're more like the rest of us, you'll consider rejoining us. Beatrix's face fell. Suddenly, her brain was working at a pace faster than ever before, and she saw things clearer than ever before. She had been hesitant to rejoin the changelings before, but she was certain of it now. She stood defiant before the queen. You don't need me here, mother. You've got my brother to take over for you. And you were right. I'm unfit to be a ruler. I've had my taste of power, and blew it. So I doubt this is a real loss for you. Keep my heart. Lock it away where no one, not even I, will find it. Today is the last day you'll see me, mother. I am done with the hive. She could not read the expression on her mother's face. After a moment's silence, the queen bowed her head. If that is your desire, I wish you the best of luck, Beatrix. And so, Beatrix turned her back on the hive for the final time. Trixie was dedicated to her career more than ever. Now that her destiny was clear, she had nothing else to live for. However, it didn't take long for her to realize the side effects her mother had been talking about. Without her heart, she didn't feel as passionate as she used to about performing. Her head told her it was all she had in life, but her heart was literally not in it. Because of this, the evidence her mother had warned about slowly grew inside her. After a month of heartlessness, Trixie was beginning to think there was no point in living anymore. Then she felt it. The squirming inside her, like there was a worm trying to wriggle out of her belly. Her mother explained these symptoms, and that after feeling them multiple times, no one got used to it. But Trixie didn't think it would happen without the royal blessing. Part of that spell was meant to kickstart a royal changeling's reproductive organs, so she could have multiple births each month. Her mother also said one would feel queasy during the first few pregnancies, but those would eventually go away. But could she? Without the royal blessing? There was only one way to really be sure. Trixie looked in the mirror and tried the love-sing spell on herself. Nothing showed up for her, but a picture of herself appeared on her stomach. That's how she knew she had new life growing inside her. She couldn't reproduce asexually yet, which meant she was carrying a child of the mentor who had broken her heart. When the baby arrived, Trixie made sure she was in complete solitude in her wagon. She didn't know how the baby was going to turn out and couldn't risk startling a doctor. It was a pain going into labor alone, but luckily the little black larva seemed to slip right out. As Trixie held up the larva, she frowned. She felt no joy over seeing her daughter. Even when the little thing opened her slit yellow eyes, she felt nothing. She didn't even cry. It was disappointing. Then she noticed something odd about the larva. It had a small gray hole growing out of its forehead. The yellow eyes also reminded her greatly of the father. Anger welled up inside her, one of the few emotions that seemed to stay. Her heart was gone, yet this child was here to take its place in her mind of her heartbreak. For a moment she considered getting rid of it. Then the larva sneezed and was encased in green flames. Trixie yelled she was now holding a blue unicorn foal with black cloven hoofs, a cat-like tail, and a curl of highlighted blue hair. The child sneezed again and turned back into a larva. "Goodness!" Trixie exclaimed. "Your son's going to have a hard time with the world." The baby responded by sneezing back to a foal. Then she started crying. Trixie tried to shush her as she cradled her. It took a few minutes for the filly to fall asleep, a small smile on her face. Trixie couldn't help but smile a bit too. "You are a strange one," she said. "You're going to need someone to help you hide these oddities, so you won't be ostracized like your mother was." Trixie still felt no pleasure in holding her newborn, but she did feel a sense of responsibility. She saw this unusual child had, and no one was going to protect her but her mother. As the moonbeam shone on the child's peaceful face, Trixie realized that her life wasn't so empty anymore. She had a new purpose. She vowed that no matter what, she was going to bring happiness to this filly, even if that happiness could never be reciprocated. Still, she found herself wishing every day for the next 9 years that just for a moment she could feel love for her daughter. See why this took a while? Yes, some of you guessed it was Iron Will. Sorry, it's my crack ship. What made you guys think Moonbeam's father was Griffin or Draconicus? I can't believe you guys didn't get the Oscar the Great thing, which in reference to Oz, the Great and Powerful. Backstories are tough. I didn't bother going into too much detail with stuff in the show and comics, since most of you already know what happened. But man, sometimes I didn't know when to call Trixie or Bellatrix. Very confusing.